Hello, everybody. I am Shadow Kage, and this will be my ranking of my top 10 favorite Demon Slayer fights, what they meant to me, how I feel that they progressed the story, how they affected the story, and just my overall love for these fights going right up to the Infinity Castle story. And so there's gonna be some of my criteria. I'm gonna be judging on how much I like the anime, the fight's importance and relevance to the story, or the characters that are participating in the fights, the cool factor, how cool it looked, the cool things happened in the fight, and how it just felt, how this feeling I had after the fight, about how I felt about the fight afterwards, the characters, how it made me feel towards the demons, the demon slayers, all these sorts of things, just kind of how I resonated with the fight. Yeah, that's kind of how what my criteria for these fights were. We're gonna start with the honorable mentions. I think the Tanjiro versus hand demon fight in the final sections, that I really felt was a real cool introduction to breathing style fights. How this power system worked in this world, how it really looked to use water breathing in a fight, practical application fight, and how that looks when you're cleaving a demon's head off. And it really showed on Tanjiro's growth. If you look back to when I guess his mock fight with Giyu, to this point, he's grown a lot. He's gotten stronger. His resolve has definitely gotten stronger. So he's no longer indecisive with killing demons when he needs to. It just overall it built a stronger foundation of a character for Tanjiro through this whole thing. Okay, with that out of the way, we're going to go to my number 10 fight. My 10th favorite fight is the Tanjiro vs. Rui fight. This includes the parts with Nezuko's aid where she unlocks her demon art, and Giyu's finishing blow when he really finishes off. That's what I'm going to all include in this fight. To my memory, this fight looks amazing. It's like, like almost every thing of Demon Slayer always looks beautiful. Demon Slayer is a very beautiful show. This fight, it tests Tanjiro's resolve to save Nezuko, especially in the face of something where he doesn't think he can win. It definitely shows the power gap between the Kizuki and fledgling Demon Slayers. It's like it really does a good setup for how powerful the rest of the 12 Kizuki are going to be, and how much of a monumental task this is going to be for Tanjiro to overcome, to even get a little bit of blood to maybe help Tamayo, Kira Nezuko. It does a great job of upping the stakes in a very committal way. It's like there's no way to change that after that point. With Rui being the weakest, being lower six, it's just it was a very good way of showing that, and also conveying how strong Giyu as a Hashira really is, setting the stage for as the rest of the other Hashira come in and showing how strong they are too. And it really gives us a real cool narrative based reason for Tanjiro realizing he's not as well suited for water breathing, and it gives us a real cool transition to his flashy fire, or in the Himo Kamikagura, that he learned from watching his dad as he grew up. It was really cool, and it sets the stage for him to learn more about the ability and for later fights. It also kind of pulls at heartstrings of me as a brother, seeing him and Ryu bicker over differences in ways of being a brother, in ways I feel like are definitely not ways a brother should be, and ways a brother should be. So this fight really sticks to me in that way, because it gives me my first real reason to actually not like a character in the show so far. So for most of the demons, they've just been creatures of no consequence. Rui is the real first one where it really kind of stuck with me on an emotional level. So that's number 10. Number 9, we're going to go with the Inosuke and Tanjiro versus the Imu or Train Demon fight from the Mugen Train. This also includes when Rengoku wakes up and he goes and clears all those trains in a really cool, very flashy Rengoku kind of way. Also, Zenitsu's awesome train clearing scene when he saves Nezuko. And it shows for a second time Nezuko's blood demon art, how it only actually affects demons and has no real negative effects on humans. which I thought that was really cool. It was definitely a cool way to show Nezuko is different from all the other demons in more ways than she already has, with the not eating demon, with her not going rabid when she's not eating human flesh, her healing from sleep. It was just a definitely another step showing that Nezuko is different in a very fundamental way. Now we're going to the fight. The fight just looked cool. It was a different when watching the movie. It was a slightly different animation style. It was a little more 3D with a lot of the CGI sometimes not looking the best. But overall, I think it just looked really good in motion. And also, just it kind of stuck with me again because it's hinting at Tanjiro's guilt for not being with his family. Because when every time he gets sent into these thoughts, is always his dreams is always showing Tanjiro being with his family, happy, healthy, and alive. So, but then for Tanjiro to find out that it's a dream and he's got to give up all this by killing himself in this dream world, and him continuing to keep on doing that and doing that, it just shows Tanjiro's immense willpower. And also to bring up Inosuke in here, his fighting is really shows the choreography that they gave Inosuke, just being a wild and feral animal as he fights. It just like, and then also just giving a reason for that helmet, the way the demons can't see his eyes, so they can't see where he looks. So it really plays on with that feral beast kind of attitude Inosuke has. And she's like, it was such a cool fight. Now we go to number 8. That'd be the Mitsuri and Gang versus the Hontangu fight in the Swordsmith arc. If this fight was shorter, I think it'll be a lot higher on this list. But it kind of just drags out, and a lot of Hontangu his splits really kind of fall flat. It's like he's one of the first demons in Demon Slayer that I had a hard time just caring about at all. Like some other demons, like Ruby, like I mentioned before. I resonated in a personally emotional way, just from my own personal circumstances. But with Hontangu, he just whiny crybaby in his normal demon state, and he's got these splits to protect it. I just really have no emotion at all, despite all of them really being mastered by emotions. It's like, but they didn't. They kind of all fell flat. The Genya stuff was kind of cool, showing that if humans eat demon flesh, they can gain some demonic powers. That I thought was cool. I thought the introduction of Mitsuri and how strong she was definitely really cool too. Giving her showing the whip sword in action, that was awesome. Her unlocking her her Slayer mark, that was also really cool. And just actually just showing how much of a power up that was. That was like, it had definitely some memorable emotions. The animation was good for Demon Slayer. I think a lot of the fights were definitely choreographed pretty good, despite some of them not having the ability to be choreographed good. But it was definitely a lot of stuff there that I thought was done really well. Now we're gonna go to 7. This one might make some people upset, but I just thought there was a miss, a good chunk of miss that they decided not to put in the movie. Number 7, the Shinobu versus Doma fight. I think, like, when I first heard they were going to do this movie, the Demon Slayer movie is in 3 movies. I really hope that they would do this whole fight in its entirety, not just the Shinobu part, but the part that comes up after that. I would think make this fight a lot better. It's a short fight. It really shows a lot of character flaws in Shinobu, how she's ruled by anger that were hinted at earlier in the series, that she's really controlled and ruled by her anger for the demon that killed her sister. She really let that go, and she could have been so much more vital in other places, or even if that fight had been pushed to the next movie, they could have showed that in its entirety, and this would have been a much better fight. But I really feel like leaving the Shinobu fight with Shinobu dying and just Kanao just coming in there kind of makes Shinobu's death a little less impactful. Not less meaningful, but just less impactful in the overall plot to the movie. I think it should definitely have been given the rest of the fight, would have made it a lot better. Okay, now for we're going 6 and 7. No, 6 and 5. Can I think you could you could persuade me to switch them either way because I like both the fights about as much as each other. But there's just a few little things that I think were put them in the ranking. I have them now. Number 6 is Morichiro Tokito versus Glayoko in the Swordsmith Village arc. There, I think what stands out the most for me in this fight was just definitely where you see Morichiro's personal development in his philosophy of how he deals with others that aren't demon slayers. It's definitely cool because he gets this reaction before you get this fight with him when he gets against Tanjiro, and Tanjiro basically stops him from beating that boy. I can't remember his name right now, but that boy, it really shows a different side to Morichiro, and he starts remembering about his brother and all this in the fight while it shows and while he's fighting, and he's stuck in this water bubble because initially he loses the fight, and you're like, oh, this is not going to be good. But I really do feel like as he starts to accept that it's okay to that weakness, that the weakness inside him being alone and not him relying on others is not a weakness like he has believed since he was young when he woke up after his brother died. I think that was really cool. And then as he awakens his Slayer mark and it powers up and he keeps going, it's like it is just the coolest character progression. I am a very character heavy person. I like character beats and things that as character moves characters along more so than the punchy. It's like just a really cool thing. It's probably you probably tell it because I'm talking a lot about character stuff. But I think this fight really meets expectations, and it just really shows that you can narratively tell a story through a fight while showing character development in the fight. It's just like it was a real cool fight, and personally, it's definitely one of my favorites. Okay, now number 5. This one's also from the Infinity Castle movie, the Zenitsu versus Kangaiku fight. This is my favorite pure Zenitsu fight. I think it just shows how much stronger he's gotten since the harsher training arc. It's like his whole mentality has changed. He can use his breathing when he's not asleep. And can we just talk about the fact that this man was only good at one technique, but then he hones it so well he creates a 7th technique out of it, and it's just the nuttiest thing ever. And also, let's like in the theater when you're in the theater and you're listening to it and you just hear the crackling of the thunder while these two are fighting. It's the most sensory thing. It's like just a really cool sound effect. It really makes you feel a little more so in it. It's just really cool, and I just love the justice that Zenitsu gets for his teacher, his adoptive grandfather, by slaying Kaigaku, even though Kaigaku thought he was going to win. But I've heard some people talk about that if Kaigaku had been a demon for a little longer, that Zenitsu probably would have lost the fight, which I would probably agree. But it was just an awesome fight for Zenitsu, and I just loved it so much. And like I said before, you could probably twist my arm to switch between 5 and 6, switch them in order. But just after seeing the movie so much sooner, I think I just like how it resonated with me a little bit more for Zenitsu's character, seeing him progress from a crybaby that can't use his breathing unless he's asleep to this point where he's just full blown into it and he can use it on command. It's a really cool story, almost a coming of age for Zenitsu, I think. Now we're gonna go to 4. While I was writing this out, this was kind of interesting because I got these two mixed up and then I realized, oh no, these are actually 2 fights. So that was interesting. So number 4 is a Tanjiro Inosuke and Zenitsu versus Daki fight in the Entertainment District. Yeah, these two are really split, and it's like the next two are kind of, they almost, to me when I first thought about it, was almost like one long fight. But the more I think about it, it's really kind of split into 2 sections where it focuses mostly on on fighting the Daki and then fighting Gyutaro and Daki kind of at the same time. It's really split into 2. It's kind of like you could argue that it's all one fight, but for the sake of this video, we're gonna split them in 2. This fight, I think, has a lot of jaw dropping and stealing moments, and some of the coolest moments I think in the scene in the series up to this point. It's just like it was really cool to have to see Zenitsu and Inosuke and Tanjiro have to work together to really cut Daki's ribbon neck. It's really cool, and it's just like you get to see more of Inosuke's interest. What makes him kind of crazy? The fact that he's honed his control of his body so much, he can move organs out of the way to stop fights. It's all just a kind of a real crazy thing. I think it's really cool how they kind of added that. It's like the fight's cool. There's not a lot of emotional or even character development in this fight, but I think it's just kind of real cool. It's entertaining, and I think that's why I have it here because it's definitely one of the most entertaining fights for me. Okay, with that being said, we're gonna go to 3: Tengen versus Gutaro. This was my favorite fight for a long time, and then I really kind of after I watched the movie, a few things changed. But after rewatching this, I'm like, this fight could have been a bit short. They could have not stretched out quite as much. But I really do think it's a really cool fight. It shows again Tanjiro's It really shows how Tanjiro and Nezuko are just the opposite side of the coin for docking Gutaro, and I really kind of like that. It's like a really cool thing. It really as a brother with sisters, it just really kind of resonates with me. So it's definitely higher because on an emotional thing. So I thought it was real cool. It's had real cool fights. It really shows again another Hashira that's very on the upper echelons of power there, and I think it's just really cool that you can get. Yeah, it gets to bring out a little bit of Tengen's shinobi side with his with him being resistant to toxins, and then I think it's just really metal that they actually mess him up real bad. And Tanjiro too. It's like everyone in that fight gets messed up on from 3 ways to Sunday, and it's just like it adds real stakes. But I think this. After rewatching again, I definitely think this. Is he gonna die? Is he not gonna die? Kind of. It's almost a double-edged sword. It's really cool. It adds tension, but I think it also kind of cheapens some of the moments in the fight and some of the tension too. So that's why it's at number 3. Okay, now we're gonna go to number 2. Until I watched the movie, this was my favorite fight after a second and third rewatch. The Rengoku versus Asuka fight from the Mugen Star. That was for a long time, hands down, the best fight I watched. And then there was the previously mentioned fight with Tengen and Gutaro. That one. These two used to go back and forth. But with the second part of Aka's story, it kind of changed my mind a lot. This fight, I think, is just on another level with a lot of other fights because it really shows a much more stronger Tanjiro and Inosuke not being able to follow a fight that is happening. It's like they even these two characters we've seen grow and get stronger are at this point they can't even tell what's going on in this fight but they know if they were to get involved they'd die. And it just really shows, and it does a good job showing how strong the upper moons are and are going to be, and just it is a phenomenal way to show that hey, these people are really strong, and it's going to take a whole different level of fighting. And the animation in this fight was top tier. The way it showed Rengoku's flame style was another level, and then also just Aka's destructive fighting style was like it's cool. It is the most It's one of the most well choreographed fights in the entire series, and I definitely don't think anybody would argue with that at all. So that's why it's there. And it's super entertaining, and I love the entertaining fact. And it really shows some character beats for Rengoku, why he is the way he is, why he's so willing to help people. It also gives a very interesting character beat for Tanjiro, just showing no matter how strong you get, you may, in the end, still die and lose and not be able to not be able to complete your quest. It really definitely throws doubts in Tanjiro his ability to even be able to actually complete his quest, which I think is really cool. It's definitely adds more character to him as he goes along. Okay, now number 1, the Giyu and Tanjiro fight versus Asuka in the Infinity Castle movie. After reading the manga, this is my most anticipated fight. It's like it is just the absolute pinnacle of I think sword on empty-handed fighting style ever. So yeah, it looks beautiful. It gives me my favorite Tanjiro moment when he goes into the unseen world in the first time in the manga. If you guys read the manga, that you would know that he gets when he unlocks, he gets this very scary looking panel where he's just blacked out. You see his eyes. It gives us that moment of animation, and it's just awesome. And also just kind of seeing more from Tanjiro's dad and how he's actually probably the strongest character in the show so far that we've actually seen. And I thought it was really cool. And it's just the fact that they can make you feel for the guy who killed Rengoku, how we all absolutely loved for a long time, but you can still feel for him, and you really feel why he became what he became. He became what he became out of heartbreak and just like wanting to give up on life, and he just becomes stronger. It is actually a really cool thing that they can take a character that's in a lot of ways you could throw him away, you could put him in any other anime, and it just wouldn't matter much. But to make you feel for that through the fight, showing his backstory, and she even like the amount of feelings I had for Akaza leaving the theater, even after previously wanting him to die the way he does, because just pure justice for Rengoku. It's definitely I had a 180 and then another 180 in the fight while watching. It was just like really cool, and you get some really cool moments of Gyu unlocking his Slayer mark. It's just really cool. It's just like it gives us a lot of really cool scenes, and just coldest panel in Demon Slayer, I think. This is my list. If you guys disagree with something, put it in the comment section. Well, let's keep it civil though. And if you liked it, you can comment, you can like, and you hit the notify bell if you want to see more videos. And also, please subscribe. That'd be awesome.